A reading from Through the Eyes of Jesus by Alan Ames. The Father's Meal and the Thief. Walking beside me, Bartholomew started to wonder aloud, "Rabbi, if the kingdom of God is of all men, why is it the Jewish people were chosen to do God's will?" I answered, "When God looked upon his children, he saw that those who lived closest to his heart were the sons and daughters of Israel. Their love was true, and their desire to serve God was strong. To save the weak in the world, the Father chose the strong, for in their strength they would bring God's truth into the world." Bartholomew was still unsure, and so he asked, "Why then is it that the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the priests, and most of Israel believe that they are the true sons of God, and that heaven is for them alone, and that the Gentiles are not worthy of God and will not see heaven?" "My friend," I replied, "what you say is true. Many do only see heaven for the Jewish people and no others. They do not understand that the Father created all peoples from his love and wants them all to return to his love in heaven. It is like a child of a wealthy man. He is showered with gifts and treasures. His life is joyful, with no cares and no worries. When he walks along the road, he does not see the poor, the hungry, the sick, and those in need. He closes his eyes to them, believing they are there as a nuisance which should be ignored or treated with contempt. He is different from them because he is rich. He must be special, or why else would he have so much? What he does not see is that he is given this wealth to help others, to save others, and that when he does this, his Father would be so happy with him that he would shower him with more gifts. It is in the giving that you receive. What happens is that the child closes his heart to this and just sees his own needs, his own comfort, his own desires, and becomes a selfish soul. His father one day looks upon his son and does not know him. His father sees the selfishness and greed, and then in despair takes his gifts from his son and shares them with those in need. And the son becomes the lost one, the beggar, and he wonders why this has happened. Over time, he comes to understand how wrong he was and how he had closed his heart to others. He then sees why he has been given so much. It was to share with his brothers and sisters, not just for himself. Now those who have the gifts and treasures of the Father come to the Son and offer him help. He sees now that the weak have become the truly strong in the love of the Father, and in that strength they share willingly with all in need. Bartholomew, looking at me with understanding in his eyes, said, "Master, your wisdom is so deep it touches my very soul. I see Israel is a spoiled son and will be shaken from slumber to understand all mankind are God's children, and that heaven is for all." We walked in silence for a while. Bartholomew then went off to discuss what I said with the others. In the distance, we could see a lake. Upon it were boats with fishermen casting their nets. As we came closer, I could see in my followers' eyes their longing to fish again, for fishing was in their hearts. Walking along the shore, we waded into the water, feeling the coolness on our feet. Peter, James and John came over to me, and Peter spoke, saying, "Master, it is so beautiful here. Maybe we could stay for a while and enjoy a little fishing." "My friends, of course we can stay here. Yes, it is beautiful. Let us rest here for a while." Running into the water, they began to splash each other, and diving into the water, starting to swim about. Within moments, everyone joined in, falling in the water, splashing, playing, relaxing, enjoying themselves. Later, as they quieted down, some went off to fish while others made a fire and set to making a more comfortable area. It was good to see them at ease. We had been walking so far and doing so much for my Father's glory, it was time to rest, for they were so tired. Thomas was by my side, remarking that he looked forward to eating fresh fish. "Lord," he said, "it will be good to eat fresh fish. The fish here are very tasty. I hope they will catch plenty." "Thomas, there will be enough for all. You will eat your fill, and still there will be enough to feed all my followers." With a shout of delight, James came running along the shore with many fish in his arms, saying, "Lord, look at all we have caught." Thomas turned to me and said, "We will eat well today." I looked into his eyes and could see the delight, the joy of the meal ahead. "Thomas, give thanks and praise to the Father, who, in his mercy, sends you the food to sustain life." As the disciples gathered together, I blessed the fish, thanking my Father for his generosity. While the fish was being cooked, the smell of food filled the air. Judas, not Iscariot, sat staring at the fish, fascinated by the size of what had been caught. "Lord, the fish is so big. Never have I seen such fish. They smell wonderful. I am sure they will taste good." His eyes grew larger, thinking of the meal ahead. "Look at the meal before you," I said to all my disciples. "The Father gives you all you need to do his work. My Father gives you what is needed and more." "Praise God!" shouted Thomas, and we began to praise and thank the Father. While we ate, the conversations were light, full of love and happiness. As the meals settled in our stomachs, I explained, "Today you have eaten a wonderful meal with me, a meal sent by the Father. But I tell you, in the future, the meal the Father will offer you will be the food of true life. The Father, through his Son, will offer you eternal substance, eternal life. The Father will offer you the true bread of life and the wine of forgiveness. I am the Son come down from heaven. I am the bread that will fill your souls. I am the wine that brings forgiveness. It is only through me, his Son, that the Father offers the meal that gives eternal life. I am the Son. I am the food of life that the Father offers. I am the food that feeds your soul and fills you with the spirit of peace. Eat of me and never hunger." They looked uncertain, confused, so I said, "Eat and enjoy while you can, so that in times of need you will never hunger." They didn't understand me. In times ahead, you will look back and come to know my meaning. Then it will be for you to tell others. Lord, how can we ever understand? It is so difficult at times. It was Matthew speaking. Trust in my word. I tell you, after I return to my Father, you will be filled with wisdom from God, and all my words will come alive in your hearts. Philip said, "If you say so, then it will be." We all lay back and slept. It was late in the afternoon when we decided to go to the market in the next town, only a short distance away. When we arrived at the market, there was a loud argument taking place. Two men were holding a woman, shouting between them, shouting loudly, "She is a thief! She stole my goods! She did not pay!" said one. The other was shouting, "I saw her steal! I saw her do it!" The first man was saying, "Where is the magistrate? She must be punished!" The crowd was screaming over and over, "Thief! Thief! Thief!" The poor woman, so thin, frail and old, looked around in fear. She begged, "Have mercy! Have mercy on an old woman!" I stepped forward and looked and took the woman's arms, freeing her from the men who were surprised. "What are you doing? She is a thief. She stole from me," one man barked at me. "My friend, what did this woman steal that was so valuable?" "She stole some grain. It was worth half a shekel," he said. "Judas, pay this man 1 shekel for his grain." Judas looked shocked, but he put his hand in his pocket and gave the man a shekel. The man cried, "But she stole! She sinned!" as he pointed an accusing finger at the old woman. "Old woman, why did you steal?" I asked. "Master, I stole because I have no food. My son died 1 year ago. I have no one to support me. I asked my brothers and sisters here before you now to help me a little, but they refused. The tax collector took my home, the neighbours took my animals. I have nothing left. Even the priests refused to let me on the temple grounds, as I have no offerings to give to God except my prayers and my love." She started to cry and fell at my feet, saying, "Master, today you have shown me the first kindness since my son died. I will never forget it." I looked around me at those in the market stood in silence, looking at the ground in shame. I tell you here today, not one of you has lived how your father Abraham asked. Not one of you has followed the commandments God gave to Moses. Not one of you has shown mercy, the kindness and the forgiveness each of you would expect for yourselves. As for you, priests and elders, they bring shame upon themselves for treating a sister of theirs, a daughter of God, in such a way. The priests and elders only think of themselves, only think of wealth and fame. Those in need are ignored by those who should help them. No wonder the day is coming when a new church will rise, a church that truly is the temple of God. Shame on you all. With that, I left the people in silence and instructed my disciples to take the old woman to Elizabeth in Judea, who would care for her as if she were her own.